When you think of the top Western Conference teams in the past 5 years, who comes to mind? Obviously the Golden State Warriors, maybe the Houston Rockets, while teams like Portland and OKC made the playoffs consistently, but were never real contenders, especially not for the Thunder after KD left. And if we rewind 5 years before that, teams like the Thunder, the Clippers, the Spurs would all be mentioned, maybe even the Grizzlies. But in the 2000s, the Western Conference was dominated by two teams, the Los Angeles Lakers and the San Antonio Spurs. What is up with it, everybody? My name is Luke, and in this video, I'll be talking about the Lakers-Spurs rivalry during the 2000s. How dominant were both teams, and what were some of the greatest moments? To start things off, let me give you some key information. From 2000 to 2009, the Lakers and Spurs met 5 times. 9 out of the 10 seasons, either the Lakers or the Spurs played in the finals, with the only exception being 2006 when the Dallas Mavericks made it. Some of the most iconic players of both teams were in their primes during this time frame. For the Lakers, Kobe and Shaq to start, and then later Pau Gasol would join a few seasons after O'Neal left. And of course for the Spurs, the iconic big three of Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. And of course we have to mention David Robinson, who is nearing the end of his career but was still a good player. While Parker didn't get drafted in 2001, and his prime was mostly near the end of the decade and the start of the next, but still, he was very good. And although Ginobili was drafted in 1999, he didn't make his NBA debut until 2002. It goes to show you how good the talent of both teams were during this time. Now let's rewind back to 1999. The Lakers just hired Phil Jackson as coach, and this was after the lockout season that got shortened to 50 games in which the Spurs took home the title. However, Jackson had some very interesting words regarding that. He said that the Spurs championship should have come with an asterisk due to the shortened season. And this is what caused many Spurs fans to hate Phil Jackson, and was one of the catalysts for what would become a great rivalry. During the 1999 to 2000 season, the Lakers dominated. They won 67 games compared to the Spurs 53, and Shaq won MVP that season. During the playoffs, the Spurs would lose in round 1 to the Suns, while the Lakers would of course go on to win the title, the start of the three-peat. However, there was some doubt among certain fans who believed the Lakers would not have won if they matched up against the Spurs during the playoffs. But the Lakers proved all the doubters wrong the following season. The Spurs won 58 games and clinched the top seed in the West, while the Lakers finished with the second seed and 56 wins, and they would meet in the Western Conference Finals. But despite the Spurs' home court advantage, they were no match for the Lakers, who swept San Antonio just like what they did to Portland and Sacramento prior in the playoffs, by an average margin of victory of 22 points. For some extra context, the Spurs swept the Lakers 2 years prior in 1999 when they won their first title, so the Lakers were on a mission for revenge, and surely enough, they got it. In the 2001 to 2002 season, the Spurs and Lakers both won 58 games for the second and third seed, trailing the Kings by 3 games. They'd meet again in the playoffs, this time in the conference semifinals, and the Lakers would once again win convincingly, this time in 5 games. But the impressive thing about this series for them was that the Spurs were leading going into the fourth quarter for all 5 of those games, yet they only managed to win 1. This included a game winner by Kobe in Game 4, and was certainly an anticlimactic ending to the Aladome era for the Spurs. Of course, the Lakers would eventually complete the three-peat by sweeping the Nets in the finals. The next season saw the Lakers fall off drastically, getting only the 5th seed while the Spurs got the 1st. They'd meet in the conference semifinals just like they did last season, where the Spurs would win 4-2. Robert Horry, who is known as a clutch shooter, missed a game-winning 3 in Game 5.
Jack up high, played by Robinson. Down to 10. Bryant trying to shake off Bowen. Here's Horry for 3! Robinson with the rebound that was in and out. Robert Horry.
The Spurs' momentum would carry over to Game 6, where they closed out the series in a very convincing fashion, and they would go on to win the finals against the Nets. After this season, David Robinson would retire, and things got heated up during the summer when Horry went rogue and joined the Spurs in free agency, while the Lakers attempted to assemble a super team, acquiring Gary Payton and Karl Malone, who were both on their last legs but still solid players. As fate would have it, the Lakers and Spurs would meet in the 2004 playoffs in the conference semifinals once again. This series will always be known for Derek Fisher's 0.4 second shot in Game 5. Tim Duncan sank a jumper to give the Spurs a 73-72 lead with just 0.4 seconds left. But little did he and the Spurs know that they would not come away with the victory, as Fisher hit a fadeaway jumper that got the Lakers the 3-2 lead.
Here they go. They get it to Fisher. He scores! Derek Fisher scores at the buzzer. It'll have to be reviewed.
He was so shocked that he just sprinted off the court after it, saying, "I just wanted to get out of there and not give them an opportunity to think that we didn't believe that it went in." The whole Lakers team was ecstatic after this shot, and rightfully so. Karl Malone commented, "In 17 years, I've seen a lot, but this was unbelievable." Gary Payton said, "We had to answer a prayer. A prayer was answered." Shaq stated later that one lucky shot deserves another. And this time the Spurs fell in 6 games, and the Lakers would make it to the finals, although they would lose to the Pistons in 5. The following summer, Shaq would get traded to the Miami Heat, and the Lakers struggled for the next few seasons, while the Spurs continued to dominate, finishing in the top 3 in the West each of those seasons and winning the title in 2005 and 2007. In 2005, the Spurs beat the Pistons in a nail-biter 7-game series, and then in 2007, they swept the Cavs, led by a young LeBron James. The Spurs' Big Three was at their best, as in the early half of the decade, Parker and Ginobili were still really young and new players, but at this point they had developed into stars and were a truly dominant force in the West. Fast forward to 2008, and the Lakers are back on top behind Kobe's MVP season and the recent acquisition of Pau Gasol. And the two Western Conference powerhouses would meet in the Western Conference Finals. The Spurs were trying to defend their trophy, while the Lakers were legitimate contenders for the first time since 2004, and the Lakers would win this one in convincing fashion, taking it 4-1, but ultimately lost to the Celtics in the finals. That was the last time this decade the two teams would meet in the playoffs. The next couple of seasons it was the Lakers' turn to win, as they repeated in 2009-10, while the Spurs would fall short in the playoffs both times before the conference finals. And that's the story of the Lakers-Spurs rivalry during the 2000s decade. 7 titles won, 9 finals appearances, and 5 playoff series played, as well as many current and future Hall of Famers. These teams went head-to-head all the time, and it's safe to say that they were each other's demons. Kobe even claims that the Lakers would have won 10 in a row if it weren't for the Spurs, which is a hot take in itself, obviously. But this shows how much respect that he had for the Spurs as an organization and as a rival. Tim Duncan and Greg Popovich also had much respect for the Lakers organization too. Pop has shared many memories of Kobe both on and off the court, and congratulations to Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan for making it into the Hall of Fame. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite moments of this rivalry was during the 2000s. And with that, I'm out. See you guys next time.